Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good afternoon. My name is Valentina. I am the lead for the alliance with HP globally here at Canonical. And if you would like to know more about the alliance, please reach out to me on this email or find me on LinkedIn. So as you know, Canonical's mission is to amplify the global impact of open source. And today we are going to zoom on a very specific use case called VDI and let you know how we have built together with HP Enterprise and HP Inc. a robust modern solution based on open source, leveraging both HP infrastructure and HP Anyware platform. So together with me today, I have three great presenters, all experts in their field. Gokhan is the Alliance Field Engineer here at Canonical. Dennis is the VDI Product Manager from HP. And Mirella is the Product Manager for HP Anywhere platform at HP. So without further ado, please let me welcome them and take you through this new way of building a very efficient, cost-effective, open source-based VDI solution.
Hey, Valerie, thank you very much for this introduction. So we'll be talking today about new VDI solutions from HP Canonical and HP Anyware. VDI is not a new topic in the IT field. I learned myself about VDI for the very first time back in 2001 when I started my new job as the system administrator. When I was talking to my new boss and we were working on the floor, all of a sudden I saw Windows screen running on top of the multiple Unix screens on a Unix workstation. And so I asked my new boss, like, how are you doing this? Is it some kind of virtualization? And he told me, oh, no, this is Citrix. Don't you know about Citrix? This is a book. Read about it. So this is actually my VDI journey started. Back at the time, nobody called that VDI. But nevertheless, it was a type of the VDI, so the technology that brings the complete digital workspace environment or desktop virtualization to an endpoint and user device. So let's talk about VDI. Why does it make sense to still design solutions for VDI so many years after this technology was introduced? So with VDI technology, what we are actually doing, we are bringing together applications and data and keeping both applications and data in the data center, making this accessible for users in an efficient and secure way. And in nowadays, when data became a new currency, this approach is very important. So what VDI allows us to do? First of all, VDI enables us to introduce completely new level of security. We can prevent data breaches. We can make sure that data can have access to the actual latest data from the data center. But at the same time, the data is not leaving the premises of the data center. The only thing that we are sending to an endpoint device is screen pixels and collecting back only mouse clicks and keyboard keystrokes. So that enables us to comply with government requirement. That enables us to protect customers' intellectual property, which a lot of times becomes a core of business, the core of the value for our customers, and also to deliver significant benefits for almost immediate disaster recovery solutions. At the same time, VDI is not cheap, right? We are talking about data center hosted solution. So we are talking about purchasing hardware and software and hosting this from the data center. But at the same time, VDI can introduce significant budget optimizations and cost optimizations. So with VDI, we can turn the expensive pool of the endpoint devices distributed among multiple users into a flexible pool of the computer resources hosted in the data center that can be deployed, redefined, redeployed in a flexible way based on the current business needs and project needs. So this is a significant benefits. It enables us to optimize lifecycle management of the environment. So IT operations team now handle the deployment, maintenance, troubleshooting, updates of the digital workspace environment in a secure and really efficient way in the data center. And also, it helps us to manage endpoint device very efficiently, because all of a sudden we can help our employees to use the type of the device that they prefer to use, the type of the device that make them the most efficient and productive. At the same time, customers and end users would be able to use their personally owned device to access their work environment in a secure manner, not sharing data, not risking infiltration of viruses or malware into the work environment. We can support our remote or on-premises employees in the consistent way. And moreover, with the modern way of the hybrid approach, customers can have access to the consistent digital workspace environment no matter where they're working on, in the office or remotely. What VDI is helping us also is to mitigate the effect of the network latency. So we are bringing application and data together, eliminating the network latency between those two. At the same time, we shouldn't forget that by doing that, we are introducing network latency between the application and endpoint device. So we need to understand what we are trying to achieve and what is going to be the most efficient way of introducing VDI. Quite a lot of times I'm hearing that VDI is just one of the measures to provide remote access. I would say this is not true. It can work in certain way, but this is definitely not the most efficient way for deploying and using VDI. So VDI has remote access is one of the side benefits of this solution, but this is not an efficient replacement of the just remote access solution. Another opposite approach is to talk about VDI as the replacement for everything, is the replacement for an endpoint device and the only way to enable employees to do their job. Again, we shouldn't forget that we are introducing latency between endpoint device, the end user, and an application. So basically what I would like to say that VDI should be where the data is, because we are bringing together applications and data. And this is what delivering the most benefits from VDI. At the same time, when we are doing VDI, what makes VDI different from other workload solutions hosted from the data center? Let's say from database management solutions or from containerized solutions or general virtualization solution. With VDI, we are dealing with the live person, with an interactive user that is using our hosted virtual desktop. So what is important is user experience, first of all. We are really impatient human being. And according to the research, the delay between 100 milliseconds and 1000 milliseconds is considered to be optimum. Everything that's causing a delay more than 1 second or 1000 milliseconds is going to cause inconvenience for end user. So with this approach, we need to deliver really high performance, non-compromised experience with VDI solution. And we'll talk more about that in just a second. At the same time, with VDI, we are introducing a live person, an interactive user running a virtual machine in the data center, what historically was available only for a system administrator. And now, all of a sudden, unprepared, non-admin user having an interactive session on a virtual machine running in the data center and might have access to public internet and ability to download software, viruses, scripts, software, and all of this. So with implementing VDI, we need to make sure that the platform that we are delivering is really secure. So it is not only securing the data in the data center, but also protecting the user session in the data center from bad influencing the rest of the data center. So we need to keep the balance and make the session secure. So what does it really mean when we talk about VDI? We are talking about layer solution, right? So in the foundation of our solution, definitely we are talking about the hardware infrastructure. We are talking about computer, storage, networking. On top of the hardware infrastructure, we are running our virtualization solution, so the hypervisor, because even though it's possible to use physical bare metal desktops for media solutions delivering, most of the time, this is not the most efficient way of using the hardware resources in the data center. So we are talking about virtualized solution. And on top of this layer, we are running the VDI control plane, the VDI software. So this software is in charge of user session brokering, in provisioning virtual desktops, in maintaining assignment between an end user and a particular virtual desktop. So this is the VDI control plane. And the VDI control plane is also taking care about the VDI consumption part, the next layer to the left. So we are talking about the remoting protocol, because the remoting protocol is very important, the essential part of VDI, because it helps us to mitigate the effect of network latency. And remoting protocol can do a lot of magic, and Mirella is going to talk about in a greater details. And the end user side, the very endpoint device is actually still very important for VDI, because this is the device that end user is using. This is the device where we are running the VDI client from. So we need to make sure that the total stack, all of the layers are taken care of. So let's start talking about the hardware infrastructure. So what is important to consider when we're choosing the right platform for hardware infrastructure? We recommend to use HP ProLine servers powered by AMD EPYC 4th and 5th generation CPUs. Why is that so? So remember, I was talking about exceptional user experience in VDI environment. So what helps us to achieve and deliver that? First of all, in VDI environment, quite a lot of times we are running some old, outdated, not data center oriented software. So this type of the software, a lot of times is single threaded. And in order to deliver high performance environment for this type of the software, we need to make sure that we are using high CPU frequency on the server that we are using for VDI environment hosting. The next, we need to make sure that our environment is efficient. So we need to deliver high user density on a particular VDI environment. So we need to combine high CPU frequency with the high core count. And this is what AMD EPYC CPUs are actually helping us a lot. So the next consideration is that we don't want to keep all of the eggs in a single basket, right? So if the VDI environment is hosted for a certain number of users, we need to make sure that those users are distributed among multiple servers. So if we need to take one of the servers for maintenance, the whole environment stays unimpacted. So because of that, based on the size of the environment, we can recommend using single CPU or dual CPU processors in order to deliver the desired user environment size and density. So with HP ProLine DL325 server Gen 11, we can deliver up to 128 cores from a single server and support up to 3 terabytes of RAM. RAM is another important factor for hosting VDI environment, because most of the time we do not overcommit on memory for delivering VDI environment. So with that, I'm going to ask Gökhan to continue our conversation on the virtualized solutions for VDI environment, the virtualized layer. Håkan, word to you.
All right, thank you, Dennis. So MicroCloud is a lightweight private cloud solution that is designed to simplify the deployment and the management of virtual machines and system containers. It can be deployed on a single server, and it can scale up to 50 servers. So it's adaptable to different environments. It can be deployed in data centers or remote locations. It has three main components. It has LexD, which is an open source solution for managing KVM-based virtual machines and system containers. It supports images for various different Linux distributions, as well as Windows. It uses Ceph as its storage backend, and that is a highly scalable software-defined storage solution, and it has native fault tolerance features like data replication, erasure coding. So the virtual machine disk images and data are stored and replicated automatically inside the cluster. And it also uses OVN for software-defined networking. So it provides virtual network devices like virtual switches, routers. So it provides the connectivity within the cluster. So it's a hyper-converged infrastructure solution. All three features, compute, networking, and storage, are provided by all nodes within the cluster. And it's very easy to deploy. It can be deployed with just a few commands on Ubuntu. It's easy to manage. And in this VDI solution, it basically provides the infrastructure platform that hosts the virtual machines running desktop applications. And then users can connect to these applications over a secure network connection.
Gogan, I have a follow-up question actually to you. So you mentioned something about image library. What does it mean for customers when we have an image library of Linux and Windows operation system? What it enables customers to do really easy in this VDI environment?
Mm-hmm. So basically, instead of providing your own OS image repository, which you can do, we provide you one where you can get access to, and you can pull lots of different images there. So we, of course, provide Ubuntu, but you have access to lots of different Linux distributions, and you can just download from that repository and start using them without any extra configurations required. So it makes the deployment part is a lot more straightforward.
Great, thank you so much. And another question. So on the screen, we can see that the supported environment size goes from 3 to 50 nodes. So does it mean that the deployment on Canonical MicroCloud is redundant, meaning if one of the hosts goes down, the environment is not going to have any impact to it?
Yes, that's correct. So it has fault tolerance features. It has high availability features by default. So if one of those nodes go down running certain virtual machines, those virtual machines are automatically migrated to the nodes that are available.
Great, thank you. And so it is obviously right. It's going to support. It is supporting right the light migration of virtual machines from node to node.
Yes, correct. So you can either do that manually migrate machines running one node to other nodes, or it will be migrated automatically if a problem occurs on one of the nodes.
Okay, great, thank you. And one more thing about the network virtualization, because this is the item that I was really impressed when we were working on this solution in the lab, about the network virtualization piece, right? That Canonical MicroCloud can deliver full stack network virtualization cloud functionality, including DHCP server and routing and bridging. But at the same time, it can rely on the network functionality that is available in the data center. Am I right?
Right. So the network functionality is provided by OVN, which is actually developed by a company that VMware acquired to develop their NSX software-defined networking solution. So it is a very strong and very mature software-defined networking solution, and we actually use it on some of our other products as well. So by default, you can use that. So MicroCloud comes with OVN basically to provide the network functionality.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks so much. So now let's talk about the VDI software, right? The VDI control plane. And Mirel is going to talk about something that is, I would say, probably a lot of you heard before, because we are going to talk about PC over IP protocol. I heard about it my whole VDI journey. But let's talk and listen about the new exciting features from Mirella. Mirella, over to you.
Sure. Thank you, Dennis. Yeah, I will cover a little bit about what Anyware is, and then add more challenges that you described, Dennis. I'll add more to it, what we've seen as well, and how those challenges can be addressed when it comes to VDI or when it comes to hybrid work in general. So first, just an intro what Anyware is. You may have known the solution as Teradici Cloud Access Software, or just P2IP Teradici, something like that. Different names. The name is HP Anyware today, and what it is software that provides secure access to a remote desktop and applications running on that desktop. And one of the key uses for it is addressing the hybrid work, modern workforce environment we have today. That's not the only one. As Dennis described in the beginning, there's lots of reasons for VDI or for remoting, but this is one of them, one of the key ones, especially now. And with that, there's quite a lot of challenges to come with it. And a couple of main ones that we've seen is that IT typically, the larger the company is, the more complex this becomes. But IT typically has pretty complex infrastructure to manage. It's usually different infrastructure for different use cases. It could be on-premises virtualized servers, like we talked about with HPE Reliant. It could be public cloud instances that are utilizing for some use cases, some users. For some reason, it could be a mix of these environments. They could have users that are to do their day-to-day job. They need to access different operating systems. It could be, and more than one operating system, depending what they're doing. It could be Windows, it could be Linux, even Mac, and all kinds of users as well. Some are knowledge workers or productivity users, which most of us here are. Some are more graphics intensive type of users who do like designers, engineers, that kind of role, that have totally different needs when it comes to remote access and what their day-to-day work is. And for all these different environments that IT has to manage, Anyware can support all of those that I called out right now. And that's one of the main values that we hear from our customers today, is that they don't have to deploy different solutions for these different environments. It's a single solution that enables all of these. Another key challenge that I want to highlight here is that IT skills are evolving over time. And maybe in 2001, when you started, Dennis, there was just a lot more. You got a book. You said you got a book from your boss with a lot of instructions how to do VDI. There is no way for IT to do this today. They don't have the time and the people power to deal with very complex VDI. There's a lot of funding going towards AI rather than anything else when it comes to IT. And so it's really, really important, and has been really important for Anywhere, that we ensure that when IT has to manage their users, they can do that as efficiently as possible. But essentially by providing a way to rapidly deploy this solution, by being able to effectively and efficiently manage these users and be able to scale from a few users to many users and not have to scale IT department accordingly. So the way we've accomplished that and the way we're providing this is by going with a SaaS first approach when it comes to management. So the actual desktop is on premises, can be on premises, but the management layer is SaaS first. And what that means is things like a very intuitive UI with solutions where repetitive tasks are handled easier. There is telemetry to handle troubleshooting better. Yeah, so highlighting the fact that users, IT managers have to manage all these different users. One key thing we've done also is, aside of a SaaS approach, is that we've minimized the IT footprint that the manager has to deal with. So how much and how many components have to be installed in the environment and managed, scaled and managed and dealt with, uploaded, updated, all those things. So a lot, as much as possible, is hosted in the SaaS service in order to minimize the level of management that's required. And with the telemetry that we've added as part of the solution, it really allows quick troubleshooting. Or if something goes wrong, where is the problem coming from? The IT manager can go into the UI interface and quickly find where the problem might be coming from. Another key challenge that you went into a lot of detail, Dennis, I won't augment too much, but is the whole security component. You have users who are working everywhere, at home, traveling from the cafe, wherever they are, even when they're in the office. The data that they're working with, most often the company wants to protect. There's something that they want to protect about this data. And the idea of the data being on a laptop, let's say, and someone stealing that laptop and all the data to go with it, nobody wants that. So Anywhere and just remoting solutions like Anywhere, they do ensure that data is in that data center where it's secured, and only pixels get transmitted to the end user and not the actual data, not the actual files. In addition to that, we do have support for zero trust security that hopefully everyone's familiar with. We've introduced that with a next generation zero client called Trust Zero Client, and that adds another layer of security to the end user or to the data. And finally, I mentioned earlier that there's quite a lot of different user types that IT has to deal with. So with Anywhere, we are making sure that even the most graphics intensive user is able to remote, and of course a knowledge worker as well. So the whole range of type of user. And what does that mean whether they're able to remotely work? It means that their desktop needs to feel like it's physically in front of them, even if it's not. And that's things like if they're playing video, that they're able to smoothly play video. It's smooth. It doesn't play and stop. If they are interacting with a 3D model, let's say, that feels very smooth. So that's called interactive responsiveness. It's responding to their whatever they're asking it to do. Move it, it moves immediately. Things like that. And if they're working on, let's say, editing images, that the image they're editing, that the color they're looking at is accurate. So lossless, color accurate images. All of that is what Anywhere can provide with the PCO-IP protocol. Oh, and one more important one that I want to highlight is it's become a lot more important nowadays is the ability to auto adjust to change your network conditions. So you have sometimes you are in the office and you're on a LAN network. You have a lot of bandwidth to do whatever you need to do. But then you take that laptop, you work from home the next 2 days, you have other family members in the house using sharing the bandwidth with you. Um, you know, the Anywhere solution or Anywhere protocol, PCRP, automatically adjusts to that environment and still provides the best possible experience without IT having to come in and spend time tuning for that user just because they went to work from home that day. Highlight just for you guys to be aware of that there's 2 ways to get Anywhere, standard and professional. The difference is standard is meant for knowledge workers, so anyone who does not need a GPU in the remote desktop, and professional is for typically an engineer or designer, video editorial person, for example. They tend to have a GPU in that remote desktop, and that's how it's split up. Both include support, and the way licensing works is by concurrent user. So if there's 100 users, but only 50 need to be in their desktop at the same time, only 50 licenses are needed. That's what concurrent means. Okay, and then just one more visual to show the components that are required here. Really only 3 components. Agent is the blue color. This is what gets installed into the remote desktop, the virtual machine that the user is trying to access. Client is what the end user is at that they're trying to access it with. So that includes, could be anything, could be Windows laptop, Mac laptop, Chromebook, Zero client, Thin client, any of these. And then Anywhere Manager Enterprise is the management layer, the SaaS solution that I talked about. And the graphic here just gives you overview of, as you can see in the middle there, Anywhere Manager Enterprise Control Plane. That whole section is what's hosted, including the Cloud Gateway component that there is a version of this that can be installed in the customer environment, but this is a SaaS hosted version, Cloud Gateway. That means that the IT manager does not have to install anything in their environment to get that secure connection going, VPN-less secure connection going. Okay, so that summarizes what Anywhere is and the benefits. I hope that was helpful and educational in general for all the things we covered today.
Okay, let's wrap it up. So today there was a lot of information about VDI solutions. We talked about VDI place in the modern IT landscape. We talked about layered approach to VDI solutions, starting from the hardware and going all the way to the endpoint devices. We talked about the benefits of the VDI solution, that VDI significantly improves the security posture of your IT infrastructure. It keeps the data and applications secure in the data center while accessible to end users, enabling them for best possible performance and productivity. Mirella talked about the benefits of HP Anyware VDI solution, which enables all type of users, from knowledge to graphics designers, users, with HP Anyware VDI solution, and also that keeps endpoint devices secure with HP Anyware Trust Center. So Volkan talked about Canonical MicroCloud, a modern open source virtualization solution, which is flexible, scalable, redundant, secure, and also enabled for enterprise-grade support. So HP ProLine servers helps you to protect and secure digital premises with the technology called Silicon Root of Trust. So Silicon Root of Trust is the technology that integrates the silicon thumbprint, immutable silicon thumbprint that protects the hardware from firmware attack. Also, HP ProLine servers are enabled for delivering best possible performance for targeted workloads, and also intuitive cloud-like experience and consumption thanks to HP Compute Ops Manager, which makes so easy to access, monitor, and manage server remotely in a secure and the most efficient way. HP Professional Services are ready to help delivering your IT infrastructure environment at any required level, starting with the ground up and all the way to running and maintaining your IT ecosystems. And now we are ready and glad to answer any of your questions. Thank you so much for your time and your attention today.